Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about my last week in gaming, and it's been a pretty good week in EVE Online. I've played more than average, of course because of the Purity of the Throne events that has launched, but the system where I have my citadel was also hit by an incursion. So my normal playstyle, which is to do some manufacturing and some mining and just some Care Bear stuff, was not really possible at that point, but I was pretty damn lucky because on Tuesday the patch hit, we had the Purity of the Throne event that launched, and so I could spend some time in my good old Dominic's the Space Potato hunting for some skins. It's been going decently well. I think I have 23 or 24 skins by now, but I've also seen that it is very much possible to just make some ISK and then buy them off the market because it's being flooded by all of the skins from players that can gather them at a very efficient rate. Like Johnny Pugh, for instance, I read on Twitter that he already has all the skins in his collection, so it's pretty good, honestly. Purity of the Throne, I like the event. I like the possibility for any type of player to participate in this. Basically, if you want to have the most efficient way of grinding all of those skins, you can just go to Nullsec, Wormhole Space or something like that, and you can find a lot of sites there in very short order. Of course, you're taking the risk of going into dangerous space. If on the other hand you want to grind everything out in full safety of HiSec, you can do that. It's just going to take a lot more time and a lot more effort for you to do it, but I can see this as being achievable in some parts of space. Of course, in very busy lanes or in Amar space, a lot of people seem to think that it may be restricted to Amar space. It's going to be a lot more difficult to do so, but it is still possible if you're willing to put in the work. And then there's any options in between as well, from people that don't want to participate at all, want to keep making their ISK the way that they enjoy playing the game, and then just want to buy everything off the market. And of course, the way I'm doing it at the moment is I'm just playing the game as much as I want, as much as I feel like. I probably won't be able to grind down every single skin the way at the pace I'm doing at the moment, but I can basically complete my collection without any problem going after them on the market. So it's good. This is part of what I really like about the Purity of the Throne event compared to the Shadow of the Serpent. You can put in as little effort as you want and you will still be rewarded with one skin in every site that you complete successfully. The sites don't take that long, but you also warp in straight away into the site, and so if someone else finds you in dangerous space, a PvP situation is very easy to get triggered by this. So there's less grind, there's a constant stream of rewards. I actually think that is pretty important because it basically allows you to keep enjoying the event at your own pace, regardless of what pace that is, which was not really possible with Shadow of the Serpent, where you basically needed a certain amount of points, a certain amount of sites to be completed just to get to the first tier of the rewards. This is just constantly dropping from you doing these sites, and I definitely prefer that to the Shadow of the Serpent model. I think a lot of people will agree with that. I don't have any metrics, of course, but on the first day it was impossible to find any of those sites in HiSec. After that, from the second day, it was actually possible, just going through HiSec systems, to find Purity of the Throne sites maybe every 2 to 3 jumps is what I would say in my own experience, and that's in a Mars space. In other space it might be even more available than what I've been experiencing. So yeah, Purity of the Throne, pretty big success in my opinion. I'll see how much more I want to spend inside the sites, or if I just want to go back to doing other stuff and then buying the skins off the market. We will see. Another thing that I did, of course, I kept up with the blueprint copy business. A couple of trips to Cheetah were part of the week, and pretty uneventful. Last week was pretty interesting because I did come across someone that had just completed a gank. Then his criminal status meant that he was spotted as well, and I picked up his corpse. But this week, nope, just pretty uneventful trips to and from Cheetah. Keeping up with the blueprint copy business, it's been going decently well. The price range that I've set seems to sell all of my blueprint copies that I put on there in a decently small time frame. I would say half of them sell within 24 hours, and then the others, well, there's just too much competition in those, and so they lapse. But I can sell enough of them that on my next trip a couple of days later, I can basically put everything back up again, go back to my maximum number of contracts, and be reasonably certain that another half of them is going to get sold. Of course, the Strauss blueprint copy is still a very good seller. That still goes for a decent amount every single time, very quickly. So people still want Strausses. In fact, I've read about it that they're becoming so ubiquitous, especially in Wormhole space and in some other places, that people are a bit worried about that. But CCP has said that they basically see the Strauss Citadel, the smallest citadel, as a replacement for bosses for people to live in, and so they are meant to be throughout the entirety of New Eden, to be ubiquitous, to be almost everywhere, because it's something that even solo players can shoot for, and so pretty much anyone is going to end up with an Strauss at some point. Then, of course, in Cheetah I also bought minerals. I think that's where my investments lie at the moment. Zytrine is going extremely low. Isogen, I've bought more Isogen stocks as well. A little bit of Megasite. I don't see that as an investment, just as getting those ready when the industrial arrays are coming. And then I know that Pyrite is pretty cheap as well at the moment. So yeah, basically all the money that I've been making, I've been putting that in minerals at the moment, keeping something like 3.5 billion in liquid ISK so that I can buy blueprint originals in November when those hit. Other than that, for EVE Online, it's mostly looking forward to more stuff. I think especially on September 27th we'll have the coronation of the new Empress of the Amarr Empire. I definitely hope that I can join that and check all of that out. Should be good. Personally, of course, I'm hoping that this could be the launch of some more live events heading towards the November release, but there are not really any hints in that direction, so it just may be a bit of a one-off. I do think that CCP is pretty busy already, and I'm eagerly awaiting any dev blog on the November release. I mean, the industrial arrays still have to drop, the changes to the Rorcal, possibly the Orca. I'm hoping that the Orca gets changed as well and can use those big drones too. Needs to drop as well. Several more dev blogs on the boosting changes are meant to come as well. So information, I'm becoming pretty damn impatient. CCP already basically teased the names of the new industrial arrays in the latest scope videos, so hopefully we'll get the information in the upcoming weeks and we'll start seeing stuff on CC as well to check out. But we're still in preparation mode for November, but I do feel like it's going to start to dwindle down. I think CCP is going to start to drum the hype pretty soon here. Next game on the list for me has been the Elder Scrolls Legends. It's probably the game that I spent the second most time in, because I've been keeping up with the daily quests there. That honestly is very doable. You have a lot of quests like play 10 support cards, shackle 10 or 6 creatures, steal a number of life from your opponent, stuff like that. You can easily build a quick deck around this, play 2-3 games and be finished with yet another quest. Next to that, at some point I did get a quest to win 3 arena games, and that has been going extremely badly. I don't know what was happening last week, but in the arenas I think I had 4 of them where I had 1 win and 3 losses, so that was pretty much not worth the money. Luckily I did get some extra soul shards from that, and I managed to create my first legendary from soul shards. It's like a support card. I'm not sure what the name is exactly, but it gives a random keyword to any creature that you play after that, and that can be extremely powerful because that can be lethal, it can be ward, it can be guard, it can be charge. A lot of really cool stuff. I think that that's a very important and basic card that that's one of the first ones that you should build in the Elder Scrolls Legends, because it is neutral, so you can put that in any deck, and I think it's extremely powerful. But on my final arena I did manage to get a couple of pretty good good cards in there, and so now I'm 2-0 on the current arena, and so if I get that quest back, I think I'm ready to try and go for more wins in this run. But yeah, the ESO Legends, I still enjoy the game. I think it's pretty solid game. The meta is still growing, but there's a lot of people that already know very well what they're doing. Competition is definitely becoming quite a bit tougher than at the very beginning of the open beta. But I find it a lot of fun just to keep up with earning the gold and then trying to earn some card packs, completing your collection and going from there. So the ESO Legend is still pretty much a daily thing that I'm doing. It's not exactly every day. Sometimes I skip 1 or 2 days and then I spend a bit more time trying to complete 2-3 quests. But I've been keeping up with it and I still enjoy it very much. I think it's an awesome card game, especially because it is so new. It's free to play, so if you want to check it out, I do recommend it. If you're like tired of Hearthstone or something like that, I don't think it's too complex. I think it's pretty much just right, especially if you've tried Hearthstone, you've got an idea of the basic mechanics. The ESO Legends basically adds a little bit of a layer to that. After that, I also jumped back into a little bit of Overwatch, really not a lot, but I was basically looking for something to distract my mind a little bit, and what's better than a hero shooter where you basically just pick a character and start shooting at the opponent. I still enjoy that in very small stints. What was very nice as well is that I played my first game on the new map, Valda, I think it's called. It's incredibly good looking, honestly. The Blizzard quality just oozes from that map. Incredible attention to detail. You also have some lore behind this map as well, where in your starting area and throughout the map you can see some of those old destroyed bastions from an ancient battle that took place there. It's also, I think, pretty much my favorite playstyle. At first you have to, let's say you're on the defending side, you have to defend a point from the opponent. Once they take that, it changes to an escort a payload, and you have to try to stop them from reaching the end of the map. I think it's pretty cool. I still enjoy Overwatch, but in a very casual way, only dipping in here and there a couple of times in the last week. It's in fact been several weeks since I've played any Overwatch, and it's still good fun. Of course, it's the Blizzard polish. You can jump in there, play for 15 minutes on one game, have had your fun and stop. You can play a couple of games, or if you want to grind out several hours, you can do that as well. I think that the game still has a lot to offer, but at the moment I feel pretty restricted time and energy wise, probably because I'm only back to work for like 2 weeks or so in the last 2 weeks, and so I've only been able to play a couple of quick plays. I don't feel like I want to put in the time to go into the ranked mode, because that does add a bit of a stress element. You do feel like people expect you to be on your best there. You also start to rage a little bit more. That's just basically the name of the game, I think, of any ranked game type. But I must say, in quick play, I don't have any of those worries. Even if you're absolutely dead set on trying a character that doesn't fit in the roster of your other teammates, nobody's going to complain about that. You just give it a go, have your fun, and everyone else is doing the exact same thing. A lot of people do enjoy going with a specific combination, like at least have one tank, at least have one support, but if you don't do that in quick play, it's really no big deal. If you lose a game in quick play, there are a couple of exceptions, of course, but most people are pretty chill about that, and that actually does make it fun. You just jump in, play your games, have some fun, jump back out, and that's how I'm enjoying Overwatch at the moment. And finally, we've got Avedon. So I'm still playing a little bit of Avedon as well. In fact, I've played a decent amount of Avedon, probably more than Overwatch, because I wanted to see a bit more about what the game has to offer. And there is a fun element to building up those characters, gearing them out, giving them their abilities, going for specific builds. I can definitely see the fun in that. At the moment, there's like 5 characters, I think, in total that you can completely build up. So you've got your own character, which you choose the class from. Then you've got like a wizard, a spell sword or something like that, or at least a more tanky character, a shaman. You also have a shadow, so more like an assassin character, and then the tinker mage, which I absolutely love because he drops turrets everywhere that attack automatically, and you can basically gather gear, level those guys up and try some cool builds with them, try to make them more powerful, and then you always choose 2 of them to go out there and adventure, do your combat stuff. That aspect of the game, I do enjoy it. I can see how a lot of people are into those games, but I must be honest as well, the limitations of the game do strike me as being a little bit problematic. Especially what I don't like at the moment is that when you find a new piece of gear, like a new staff that makes you more powerful, or a new chest piece that seems pretty awesome, that has stats and everything like resistances, you feel like you put that on the character. That's a great feeling. Not seeing that represented in the game world itself is a pretty big disappointment for me personally. And then the second thing is, of course, all the reading that you have to do, because there is 0 voice acting in the game. So if you finish a main quest, there's a lot of exposition, just talking to a character and finalizing. Maybe if, for instance, one quest where you have to save the son of a woman, after that you have to go do a second quest, which is basically ending an arc, ending a certain zone. Then the amount of discussion and exposition that happens there is just a lot of reading. You take your next quest, you actually have to go right back and have a lot more exposition about the next part that you're starting. So that part slows the game down considerably, and I would say that, yeah, the graphics, they're not great, and I don't like that you have no feedback of the upgrades that you're doing. And then the pacing is a little bit off because of all the reading that you have to do, all the traveling that you tend to have to do as well. And so those are pretty big problems in my opinion, but I can see the appeal of those games, and I can also of course understand this is an indie game, this is not a AAA game, and fixing those problems that I'm having with the game would take so much of their resources that I understand that it's not possible. I understand that a small indie company cannot do voice acting for the amount of lore text exposition that they're doing in all of the quests that I've seen so far. That would just be completely impossible, be a monumental task. And of course, having your gear show up in the game means so much more in visual assets. Also a full system will need to be in place for that sort of stuff. So I understand that it's not exactly possible for the game, but for me there are definitely major blockings to enjoying the game itself. So I would say maybe I'll play a little bit more of it, check out a couple more zones, see what they have to offer, see if the upgrades can keep me going, but I'm not entirely sure if I'll be able to manage that. And at this point, Avedon I think is pretty much for the people that are big fans of these old school RPGs and that want to dive into a game like that, want to enjoy the story and don't mind the lower graphics and all the reading that they have to do. For people that know what they're jumping into, Avedon is probably a great game because I can see the fun aspects of this as well. But if you're just looking to explore the game for the first time, if you don't really know, is this something for me? I have to be honest, I would wait for a Steam sale. I would not dive in on full price when it comes to Avedon, because I feel like it is extremely niche. You have to have the right mindset, you have to enjoy these types of games in order to really be able to spend enough time and have enough fun, I would say, to purchase the game at the moment. But I'm not saying it's a bad game, the mechanics are sound, everything works. I think it's pretty impressive what an indie company can make like that. And so I'll see if I can spend more time in it or not. It will depend on how the next week will go. So there you go, guys, that's going to be it for this Sunday recap. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.